Good afternoon, everyone. For today's lesson, we will be dealing with Stairway to News Writing, Techniques, and Principles. In today's discussion, here are our learning outcomes. First, identify various sources of news, determine potential sources of school news, record the ways in news gathering, and apply the elements of news in specific situations. Let's start with the sources of news. The first one is the beat. The beat is the stable assignment of the reporter. For instance, in a school setting, the chief editor or the advisor is identifying assignments for writers. A news writer is assigned to gather news from the student body. That means the reporter's beat is the student council only. Thus, what he concentrates on is only issues about the student body. Second, written and printed documents. A good journalist is resourceful in looking for newsworthy issues. One of his sets of sources includes public documents, either electronically or physically posted. For example, if he is gathering data for the newly imposed rules on wearing the prescribed uniform, he may look into the minutes of the meeting or the resolution where such rules are inscribed. Third, observation. This may be done through a keen empirical observation. It exists as a writer bears witness using the physical senses to what is happening in the local communities. In the context of school paper, a writer must be wary of the places and goings on in the campus. These may be the activities that are not visible to the eyes of the many. Fourth, tips from co-writers, teachers, and students. So that is why it's very important that news writers have enlarged social circle. Fifth, Gantt chart of schedule or calendar of activities. And sixth, interviewing key informants. This is the gathering of information on a person to person basis, straight from the experts or any resource person as a credible source. We also have other sources of news. We can get from blogs, citizen journalism, and hyperlocal news. Now, what are the rules of thumb in news gathering? A writer must not only have the nose for news, but also considers the guidelines in gathering data. Ramirez in 2009 has published some of these rules of thumb in data gathering for news writing. And we have six. First, see for yourself. Nothing is more vivid when one sees the event right before his own eyes. Becoming the first-hand witness, other than gathering through hearsay, keeps the spontaneity of ideas of the writer. Second, find the person who knows. The writer should go directly to the person who is considered as the key participant of the issue. Such a person may give the writer a sense of confidence that what he will write is taken from the statements and ideas of the persons, rather than surmising the ideas, effects, and impacts of the issue. Further, this act champions objectivity, thus diminishing bias. Third, compare all versions. A writer must not rely solely on one version. One should set myriads of perspectives so as to limit the host of biases. Feel free to question inconsistencies and, of course, ensure the veracity of each statement or information. Fourth, be tactful and courteous. A writer is respectful of time. He should focus only on the data needed and avoid spending the time of the interviewee on nonsense topics. Courtesy is likewise seen in acts and words of the writer who gathers data. More often than not, saying thank you is a good gesture to pay the interviewee the bother fee incurred. Fifth, make and keep friends. Dependable informants are most valued assets, especially when a writer is assigned in a beat throughout the academic year. When needed, give them favorable mention in their stories. Never break their trust in the name of having a good scoop of the news. And last, print it. This rule of thumb reminds a writer that unpublished news is wasted. The fact that one has gathered data, the news is now considered a newsworthy item. And how do we handle interviews in news gathering? Always remember, my dear students, the interview is the bedrock of information gathering in news writing. To Soriano and Henson in 1995, an interview is the process of dyadic interrelational communication with a predetermined and serious purpose designed to interchange behavior involving the asking and answering of questions. Let us take a look into the key points in the definition to bullseye the meaning of an interview. The first would be dyadic. Dyadic denotes that the interview is a person to person interaction between two parties. Next, relational. Relational strongly suggests an interpersonal connection between the interview parties, the interviewer and interviewee. Third, predetermined and serious purpose. It means that at least one of the two parties comes to the interview with a goal and has planned the interview to focus on specifics subject matter. Fourth, interchanging behavior. It connotes sharing of expectations, roles, feelings, and information. And lastly, asking and answering questions, which would be crucial to the interviewing process. Questions serve as tools to obtain information. Now, let us have the stages in an interview. Rue de Gilliland formulated the GOSS formula, as in GOSS. First, know your goal or purpose. Present obstacle encountered. Offer solutions to these obstacles and start writing the interview story. Just follow these stages in the interview and you will never go wrong. Now, what are the steps that we have to do in conducting the interview? Let's have these 10 steps. First, define the purpose. Second, conduct a background research of the topic you are assigned to. Third, set an interview appointment. Fourth, make preliminary planning by listing down possible questions. Fifth, meet the interviewee. Sixth, get down to business. Ask the first question. Seventh, Establish early rapport that is from formal to less formal. 8. Tackle the more sensitive topic with respect and tactfulness. Ninth, express some recovery statements. And do not forget number 10, leave a thank you note. These are the steps in conducting the interview. Now, let us have the structure of news. Remember, my dear students, that newspaper articles are written using the inverted triangle format, as you can see in the illustration. Most journalism experts agree to use the triangle, not pyramid. The inverted pyramid format is three-dimensional. That is referring to special cases of developmental communication and interpretative journalism or investigative reportage. Using this inverted triangle structure, a writer bears in mind that the most important information is at the top and the least important information is at the bottom. With this format, the story or the news article will have the ability to undergo cut-off tests or removing the last sections of the story to quickly shorten without distorting its gist. So, the inverted triangle is used in news writing because it makes reading easier and faster. It also enables the hurried reader to get all the information, important facts in a very short period of time. Say, as he reads the first three paragraphs, he knows already the gist of the news. It likewise satisfies curiosity in a logical way, as it makes page makeup easier. And finally, it makes the work of the editor easier. So let us have the end of this session with a quotation from Stanislaw Jersilek. He said, "The window to the world can be covered by a newspaper." If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to comment your queries in the comment box. Now, thank you so much to our reference. And always remember that every day is a learning opportunity. This has been Sir Romnick the Great. See you next time.